It is with enormous pleasure that I welcome you all to our virtual RCVS Honours and Awards evening, our annual opportunity to celebrate the achievements of some truly remarkable members and associates of the veterinary professions. My name is Mandisa Green, and I am the Senior Vice President of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. Under normal circumstances, I would have presented our honours and awards at the Royal College Day in London in July while still RCVS President. But this was unfortunately not possible this year. I should therefore like to thank Kate Richards, our new RCVS President, for allowing me this last official duty during what is now her presidential year. I think Kate will agree that this year is a particularly special one for us, as we make up 2/3 of the first all-female RCVS presidential team. And it's an honour to be hosting this celebration during such a landmark year for the college. Of course, one benefit to hosting a virtual event is the fact that we can reach a much larger audience from all over the country. So I'm delighted so many of you have been able to join our celebrations this evening. We hope that tonight is as special as possible for all our award winners and that everyone watching at home is cheering them on. As part of the celebrations, our Mind Matters initiatives will be awarding its Sarah Brown Mental Health Research Grant. This grant is awarded once a year to an exceptional research project that explores an aspect of mental health and well-being within the veterinary profession. Our charity partner, RCVS Knowledge, also has several of its own awards that reflect its mission to advance the quality of veterinary care for the benefit of animals, the public, and society. These will be presented by RCVS Knowledge's Chair of Trustees, Amanda Bogue, and then we will formally present 8 of our highest honours, which include 2 honorary associateships, our Impact, Inspiration and International Awards, the Veterinary Nursing Global Jubilee Award, which will be presented by Chair of VN Council, Matthew Rendell, and the RCVS Queen's Medal. In addition to these, we will also be presenting 2 new awards for 2021, the RCVS Compassion Award and the RCVS Student Community Award. As well as hearing more about the achievements of our award winners, I am very much looking forward to hearing from some of them themselves with a few words they have prepared earlier. To round off our evening, I shall be delighted to introduce you to our keynote speaker, Dr. Emily Collins Wingate, who graduated from Surrey Vet School in 2020 and is now in farm animal practice in the Southeast. Emily will be delivering a live talk entitled Class of COVID-19, the highs and lows of graduating through a pandemic. I remember how challenging I found my veterinary training and starting my first role in practice, so I can only imagine how hard it has been for those who have studied, graduated, and started work during the pandemic. Emily's talk will be a wonderful opportunity to hear from one of those rising stars of the profession and to take a peek behind the curtain at what is really like to train and qualify as a vet during the global pandemic. I'll be talking more about Emily's career a little later, but I should add that she will be available to answer your questions following her talk. It is great to have you with us tonight, Emily. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. So, without much further ado, I will ask our Chief Executive, Lizzie Lockett, to get the celebrations underway.
Thank you very much, Mandisa, and good evening, everybody. We start with the presentation of awards by our charity partner, RCVS Knowledge. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the excellent work they do to advance the quality of veterinary care for the benefit of animals, the public, and society. I'm pleased to welcome Amanda Bogue, RCVS Knowledge's Chair of Trustees, to make the presentations.
Thanks very much, Lizzie, and good evening, everyone. It's great to be with you tonight on behalf of the RCVS Knowledge trustees and team. The first RCVS Knowledge Award this evening the Veterinary Evidence Student Award, recognises the capability of undergrad students in producing high-quality research. All award submissions go through the usual standards and peer review process that RCVS Knowledge Open Access peer-reviewed journal Veterinary Evidence uses. The judging panel was really impressed with this year's submissions and would have been happy to have published them all in Veterinary Evidence. One, however, really stood out, and I'm pleased to announce that the Veterinary Evidence Student Award 2021 has been won by Alexandra Bartlett. Alexandra studied at the Royal Veterinary College in London. Her winning knowledge summary explored whether using non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, can reduce signs of post-operative pain in calves undergoing castration. As part of her study, Alexandra critically appraised 20 controlled trials and concluded that there was evidence to suggest that NSAID administration before, during, or after castration can reduce the signs of post-operative pain in calves castrated without anaesthesia. Alexandra's research has the potential to improve calf welfare and benefit vets and farmers throughout the UK. She said that she is proud to have her research published in Veterinary Evidence. Alexandra, I'm delighted to formally present you with this year's first place Veterinary Evidence Student Award. Congratulations. We turn next to the Knowledge Awards for Quality Improvement, which are our way of celebrating the people who go above and beyond to improve standards in their organisation. You may have seen us use the term quality improvement, or QI for short, elsewhere. We use this term to recognise that the teams that strive for better outcomes, better patient care and better systems. This year, I'm pleased to report that RCVS Knowledge is presenting Knowledge Awards to 2 individuals and 3 teams. The winner of the first Knowledge Award for Quality Improvement is veterinary surgeon Dr. Jessica Pennock from CVS South Hub.
RCVS Knowledge Awards. Quality Improvement in Practice. Dr. Jessica Pennock. Dr. Jessica Pennock from CVS South Hub was awarded as a Knowledge Champion for the audit she submitted on perioperative hypothermia. The audit was inspired after the practice purchased a warm air circulating blanket for anaesthetic procedures, prompting the team to perform a process audit to ensure that the equipment was being utilised, and an outcome audit to see if the equipment was having a positive effect on patient care and recovery. The results demonstrate what can be achieved with an accessible audit that will have a positive impact on patient welfare.
Many congratulations, Jessica. The second Knowledge Award for Quality Improvement goes to veterinary nurse Samantha Fontaine from the University of Glasgow.
RCVS Knowledge Awards. Quality Improvement in Practice. Samantha Fontaine, RVN. Veterinary nurse Samantha Fontaine from the University of Glasgow was awarded as a Knowledge Champion for presenting a new course that teaches QI to veterinary nurses, including those in practice and education. For the first time, there is a QI route to achieving the RCVS Certificate in Advanced Veterinary Nursing, CERT AVN. The course covers quality improvement in veterinary nursing, research and evidence-based veterinary nursing, and developing evidence-based practice through reflection. The curriculum has equipped national and international students with the confidence and capability to apply quality improvement initiatives to their work.
Congratulations, Samantha. Our next Knowledge Awards in Quality Improvement this evening are presented not to individuals, but to whole teams. The first of which is Plymouth Veterinary Group, part of IVC Evidensia.
RCVS Knowledge Awards. Quality Improvement in Practice. Plymouth Veterinary Group. Plymouth Veterinary Group created guidelines for improving cytology on patients presenting with ear pathology, utilising the whole team's skill set to improve the patient journey for a common and often persistent presentation. The application showed a bottom-up approach, increasing training, utilising veterinary nurse skills, and demonstrating strong evidence that their changes led to an overall decrease in the number of antibiotics prescribed.
My congratulations to all the Plymouth Veterinary Group team. Our second winning team this evening is the CVS Small Animal team.
RCVS Knowledge Awards, Quality Improvement in Practice. CVS Small Animal Team. The Small Animal Team within CVS audited small animal ear cytology on a national scale over a long period, resulting in an increase in diagnostic tests and a reduction in antibiotic use across a wide range of practices. One of the key outcomes of introducing this quality improvement initiative was the widespread improvement in the knowledge and skill of vets and vet nurses in all stages of their careers. Their audit demonstrated strong leadership for QI initiatives and highlighted that meaningful culture change can take time.
Congratulations to everyone in the CVS Small Animal team. Our final award for quality improvement goes to the School of Veterinary Medicine and Science at the University of Nottingham.
RCVS Knowledge Awards, Quality Improvement in Practice. The School of Veterinary Medicine, University of Nottingham. The School of Veterinary Medicine and Science at the University of Nottingham was named a champion team for jointly submitting their work on teaching quality improvement, or QI. QI in evidence-based veterinary medicine, or EBVM, is integrated within both undergraduate and postgraduate curriculums. The school was one of the first UK veterinary institutions to offer postgraduate courses on both QI and EBVM, and uses QI with informative assessments for undergraduates. The school's postgraduate research has also informed the QI material embedded in the curriculum. Embedding QI in the curriculum in such a comprehensive way is an important introduction for students to see the benefit that QI can bring to their future careers.
And my congratulations to all the team at the School of Veterinary Medicine and Science at the University of Nottingham. So that concludes the presentation of the RCVS Knowledge Awards this evening. On behalf of my fellow trustees and the RCVS Knowledge team, I should like once more to congratulate all our winners and to thank the RCVS for inviting us here tonight. I would also like to add how wonderful it is to see evidence-based medicine being used to such valuable effect by veterinary professionals, both as individuals and as teams. This is an approach that we champion and which underpins our work at RCVS Knowledge. And with that, I'm delighted to announce that the RCVS Knowledge 2022 awards are now open for applications. Please do check our website for details. I will now hand back to Mandisa and Lizzie.
Thank you, Amanda, and congratulations to all of the RCVS Knowledge winners this evening. Some really fabulous examples of quality improvement and evidence-based veterinary medicine there.
We move now to present the Sarah Brown Mental Health Research Grant Award, which was founded in 2019 in memory of our RCVS Council colleague, Sarah Brown, who sadly lost her life in 2017. These grants are awarded by the Mind Matters Initiative, or MMI, which is our initiative to support the mental health and well-being of the profession. I will now invite Lizzie, who set up the initiative, to make the formal presentation.
Thanks, Mandisa. I'm extremely proud this evening to award the £20,000 grant to a very important research project in Sarah's honour. The judging panel had a difficult job in deciding who would receive this year's grant, as there were many outstanding proposals, but I'm delighted to announce that they have awarded the grant to Dr. Kirsty Pickles and Brad Hill, who are researchers from the University of Nottingham Veterinary School. They are leading a joint research project to identify workplace stressors that affect autistic veterinary professionals and make recommendations for workplace adjustments to help create healthier working environments. Their grant proposal outlined that autistic veterinary surgeons may be particularly vulnerable to mental health issues. And the aim of the research is to identify common challenges for autistic vets so that more focused workplace guidance can be recommended. In a tough field, this proposal really stood out, as the whole judging panel was impressed with how well researched the application was and how this is clearly an area that the lead researchers are really passionate about through their own lived experience. We can hear a little more about Brad and Kirsty in this short film.
MMI Sarah Brown Grant Award, Bradley Hill and Dr. Kirsty Pickles. Brad Hill is an equine vet who has spent most of his career in first opinion practice before joining the equine teaching team at Nottingham Vet School. During his time in practice, he realised the importance of mental flexibility and having a greater understanding of yourself. This led him to a diagnosis of being on the autistic spectrum. He now shares a drive and passion with his colleague, Dr. Kirsty Pickles, in helping others on the spectrum reach their full potential in practice. Dr. Kirsty Pickles is a clinical assistant professor in equine medicine at the University of Nottingham School of Veterinary Medicine and Science. She has juggled motherhood, mental health, and work in both clinical practice and academia in the UK, USA, and New Zealand. Kirsty has blogged about her adult diagnosis of autism and the new perspective this has given to her life and career. She is passionate about advocating for increased awareness of autism in the veterinary profession and beyond.
Thank you, Lizzie. And I should also like to congratulate Kirsty and Brad for winning the Sarah Brown Mental Health Research Grant Award this year.
We now turn to the formal presentation of the college's flagship honours and awards. To start with, this year we are awarding 2 RCVS Honorary Associateships. Honorary Associateship of the college is a prestigious honour awarded to a small number of non-members of the RCVS every year, in recognition of their special contribution to the veterinary professions. We're keen to recognise and collaborate with everyone who contributes to the veterinary sphere, including scientists, lecturers, veterinary nurses, charity workers, farriers, farmers, to name but a few. Our first honorary associate this evening is Emeritus Professor Stuart Carter.
Having previously worked at the University of Nottingham and the University of Bristol, Stuart Carter is now Emeritus Professor of Veterinary Pathology at the University of Liverpool. Please join me in hearing a little more about Stuart's teaching and research.
Honorary Associateship. Professor Stuart Carter. During a substantial 40-year academic career, 33 of which spent at the University of Liverpool School of Veterinary Science, Professor Stuart Carter has taught immunology to over 5,000 veterinary students and supervised over 50 PhDs, most being veterinary graduates. A Fellow of the Royal College of Pathologists, Stuart has greatly advanced veterinary medicine in wide and varied fields. In particular, he deciphered the cause of Fell and Dale pony syndrome, enabling the development of a carrier test and the virtual eradication of this disease. This accomplishment resulted in Stuart visiting the Queen, achieving an outstanding impact submission in the 2014 Research Excellence Framework and being awarded the University of Liverpool Research Impact Award in 2015.
Stuart, I am delighted now to formally welcome you as an Honorary Associate of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. Congratulations.
And here's a word or two from Stuart about what his award means to him.
Hello, Stuart Carter here. I'd like to thank the Royal College very much for this tremendous award. It means a lot to be recognised by the industry, particularly by the Royal College, having spent 35 years as a non-vet working in the veterinary field. It is a great accolade, and I'm immensely proud. I'd particularly like to thank Amy Gillespie and my other colleagues at Liverpool for nominating me. I knew nothing about this, and for the others outside of Liverpool who also supported this nomination. I guess the award comes from a number of different things that I've done like the foal immunodeficiency syndrome, in which we worked out the rogue gene, and for also the work that I've been doing on trying to find the causes and prevent digital dermatitis in cattle and sheep. I haven't finished. I am emeritus professor, but I'm still doing my research work, and I shall continue to do so. But again, finally, just to say, thanks again. It means an immense amount to me. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Our second honorary associate tonight is Anthony Martin.
Tony Martin is chairman of Empresaria PLC, a UK-based international recruitment group, and founder of Anthony V. Martin Foundation. Here's a little more about the work of the foundation he set up.
Honorary Associateship, Anthony Martin. In 2001, Tony Martin established the Anthony V. Martin Charitable Foundation and endowed it solely with his own funds. To date, it has distributed over £10 million to charities working with the veterinary profession to improve animal welfare around the world, and enabled significant international collaborations with charities in China, Morocco, Afghanistan, and India. More recently, the foundation funded mobile veterinary clinics for Spana in Mali, with veterinary teams providing free treatment to animals in remote and rural areas. And during the pandemic, when fundraising events were cancelled across the UK, support from the foundation proved invaluable. Tony takes a personal interest in every charity he partners and uses his skills and experience in business to support charities working alongside the veterinary profession. His dedication over many years has resulted in positive change through education, legislation, and cultural beliefs.
Tony, I am delighted to officially welcome you as an honorary associate of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. Congratulations.
And here's Tony with a few words about his award.
Hello everybody. It's wonderful to be with you today to accept this very lovely award from the Royal College. It is deeply appreciated and will last with me forever. I'd like to thank Tony Corbett and Caroline Trevevian, who both prepared and submitted this nomination. Very grateful for their assistance. The Royal College is well respected all the way around the world for the standards that it has created in the animal world society, and also for developing new treatments and various other things that can be very helpful to the animal community. So well done to the Royal College. My foundation, which was founded 20 years ago, is mainly dedicated to animal welfare issues and projects. We have financed some of the leading achievements recently with Animals Asia. So a great deal has been achieved. A lot of other projects have been funded in the UK, and hopefully we will be continuing this effort into the future. Again, thank you very much for this award. It is deeply appreciated.
Student Community Award. This is a new award for 2021 and recognises a veterinary or veterinary nursing student who has gone above and beyond to support their fellow students and the wider veterinary or veterinary nursing school community. It can also be awarded to someone who has contributed to their local academic community. We have two recipients of this award today, the first of whom is Jack Church.
Whilst at the University of Surrey's School of Veterinary Medicine, Jack was nominated for this award for his tireless volunteering in COVID wards throughout the pandemic, alongside studying for a veterinary degree. Here's a little more.
Student Community Award, Jack Church. Veterinary student Jack Church spent much of spring and summer 2020, during the height of the pandemic, working in an adult ICU COVID-19 ward. he completed 12-hour shifts and assisted the doctors and nurses by helping them put on and remove their PPE safely without contaminating themselves or others. Jack also helped with other work within the ward, as well as transporting supplies. After completing this work, he went on to join the Ventilator Challenge UK in Oxfordshire, where he inspected ventilators before they were sent out to COVID patients. Jack's hard work and service to the wider community, while also studying for a degree in veterinary medicine, make him an inspirational role model and will stand him in good stead for his future veterinary career.
Jack, I am delighted this evening to present you with the RCVS Student Community Award. Congratulations.
And here are a few thoughts from Jack about his award win and his volunteering.
I am delighted to accept this award for the RCVS Community Award. During the COVID-19 pandemic, all of my EMS placements were cancelled, and with my mum being a nurse, I understood how busy the NHS were, so I decided to volunteer. I ended up getting a job working in the COVID ICU at my local hospital, and doing night shifts while at university, I managed to do my bit to help. I fully understand that the work I did was nothing compared to what a lot of people do and what all the doctors and nurses have done throughout the pandemic and still to this day, but I'm severely grateful to accept this award. I'd like to thank Surrey University and my course mates for recommending me and nominating me, and for the university supporting me doing the placements and the time in the hospital while still undertaking university. I'd also like to congratulate everyone else accepting the award tonight, and also with my award personally to highlight the fact that although I'm accepting this award for myself, I fully understand that a lot of other students and people in the profession also have done their part during the pandemic, so I would like to accept this award on behalf of everyone and not just myself. Thank you very much.
The second recipient of the RCVS Student Community Award today is Lavinia Ekonomu.
Lavinia was a final year student at the Royal Veterinary College when she was nominated and is being recognised with this award for her work setting up a student group to help improve diversity in the veterinary profession.
Student Community Award, Lavinia Ekonomu. Lavinia Ekonomu is a driving force behind the student-led group Animal Aspirations, which aims to inspire young people from Black, Asian and minority ethnic or lower socioeconomic backgrounds. She set up the role after recognising the lack of diversity within the veterinary profession, as well as a lack of role models. The group works in a variety of ways. They have developed a website and have a strong, engaging social media presence. They also run inspiring, interactive workshops within the community. Within 2 years, Animal Aspirations has gone from strength to strength. Lavinia has delivered a keynote speech at the National Health Careers Conference and spoke at the AAVMC conference earlier this year. Lavinia has achieved all of this alongside her studies and has made a real difference to underrepresented student communities.
Lavinia, it is my pleasure tonight to present you with the RCVS Student Community Award. Congratulations.
And here are a few words from Lavinia on her award win.
Dear colleagues, it is an absolute honour to win this RCVS Student Community Award. I'm immensely proud to not only be one of the first alongside Jack Church to win this award, but to what this award represents. Starting Animal Aspirations and helping it grow and succeed will forever be one of my greatest accomplishments in life. Not only due to the impact I've seen it already have on young people from backgrounds that are often overlooked, but to the impact I've seen it have on fellow students, staff and now colleagues. I would like to first thank Daniela dos Santos for nominating me. I remember first meeting her and when she was president of the BVA at a careers fair. At first instance, I could tell she had a genuine passion to make a difference to this profession, and the RCVS award that she has received today is a testament to that. I'd also like to thank Stephanie Stapleton, who helped co-found Animal Aspirations with me and who has been supporting of the organisation from the start. I would like to send my immense appreciation to all the students who are part of Animal Aspirations and have made everything we achieved possible, in particular to those who were there from the very start, namely Stephanie Ray Flicker, Manuela de Oyeme and Francesca De Franco. Without their passion, hard work and enthusiasm, the organisation would not be where it is today. Finally, my appreciation goes to the Royal Veterinary College, especially the staff members who are part of the wider participation team, namely Grace McIntosh and Kate Oliver. I hope in recognition of this award, the profession continues its endeavour and commitment to making the profession inclusive to everyone. Thank you.
We move now to the RCVS Compassion Award, another new award for 2021, which has been established as part of our strategic aim to become a more compassionate regulator. It's awarded to a veterinary surgeon or veterinary nurse at any stage of their career who has demonstrated compassion towards fellow professionals and/or members of the animal-owning public. This may be part of a one-off initiative or sustained over a longer period, but the award winner needs to have shown genuine compassion above and beyond what might be expected of them as part of their day-to-day work. Although showing compassion to animals is a key part of a veterinary professional's role, this award is to recognise compassion towards their team, their clients or the wider veterinary community. We have two recipients of this award today, the first of whom is veterinary surgeon Dr. David Martin.
Coming from a mixed general practice background, David is currently Clinical Director at the Brownlow Veterinary Group and an expert veterinary witness. He was nominated for this award for his work in raising awareness of the links between animal and domestic abuse. Here's a little more about David's work in this field.
Compassion Award, Dr. David Martin, MRCVS. Dr. David Martin has been a consistent advocate for pet, client and team welfare within the non-accidental injury field for many years. In 2020, a large rise in domestic abuse was reported, and there was also a rise in numbers of potential non-accidental injury veterinary cases. There is a recognised link between animal abuse and domestic abuse, meaning veterinary awareness can benefit other victims within the household, including children. David contributed his knowledge and personal time during the pandemic and also led parliamentary discussion and webinar training. He and a group of colleagues developed practical guidance and flowcharts for veterinary teams to deal with these difficult, disturbing and emotional cases and to ensure the safest possible outcome for all those involved. It has helped colleagues and animals significantly.
David, I am delighted to present you with the RCVS Compassion Award. Congratulations.
And here are a few thoughts from David on what winning this award means to him.
Thank you to the Royal College for giving me this award, the inaugural Compassion Award. It is with great honour that I receive it, and a particular thank you to my Vets Now colleagues who nominated me for it. I also want to thank my colleagues in IVC Evidensia, particularly Richard Sinclair and Edward Davis, who were integral in getting the non-accidental injury helpline set up and running. Particularly Richard, who's given freely of his time to support colleagues who need help when dealing with a non-accidental injury case. We're very proud of the work we've done, and we know it's made a big difference to the welfare of animals, but also the well-being of our colleagues, both those who are dealing with cases and those perhaps who are affected by their own circumstances with domestic violence. We're really very pleased to be able to give them the support that they need as well. It's with great pleasure that we're able to announce that we will be expanding the non-accidental injury helpline to include all practices, not only those within the IVC Evidensia and Vets Now network. So wherever you work, whether you're a vet, a nurse or a lay member of the profession, we will be able to give you independent and confidential support if you believe you're dealing with a non-accidentally injured animal. That's a really, really powerful thing, and we hope that everyone will take advantage of that when we make it fully open in the months to come. Thank you very much for this award.
The second recipient of the RCVS Compassion Award this evening is veterinary nurse Olivia Wassell.
Since qualifying as a veterinary nurse 10 years ago, Olivia has worked in a number of veterinary practices and charity clinics. She was nominated for her work during the pandemic, where she was a constant source of support both for colleagues and clients.
Compassion Award, Olivia Wassell RVN. Since joining the Blue Cross Animal Charity in Hammersmith in May 2019, registered veterinary nurse Olivia Wassell has demonstrated exceedingly high standards of nursing care towards patients, clients and staff members alike. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Hammersmith Hospital had to close down and the team was transferred to the Victoria branch. Olivia faced this challenge with flexibility and a completely open mind, and has been a great support to numerous team members, both familiar and unfamiliar. She threw herself into her work at Victoria and continued to strive to give the best care possible. She was continually offering help during weekend work and long 12-hour shifts at the hospital, and was committed to giving consistently good nursing care to those who need it.
Olivia, it is my pleasure this evening to present you with the RCVS Compassion Award. Congratulations.
And now we can hear from Olivia herself.
So this Compassion Award for me means a start to awareness of a quality that takes energy to maintain. And that means you have to also take care of yourself so you don't just burn out. Needless to say, it's been a real tough time, whether professionally or personally. And I have seen incredible effort throughout this hardship. And for that, I am deeply grateful to my family, friends, and team. Thank you.
We move now to the RCVS Impact Award. This award is for a veterinary surgeon or veterinary nurse who has recently made a considerable impact on the profession in animal health or welfare or public health. This impact can have been made through any field of veterinary endeavour, including clinical practice, research, education or veterinary politics. We have two recipients of this award today, the first of whom is veterinary surgeon Dr. Gwenllian Rhys.
Having worked in rural mixed practice in Wales and farm practice in New Zealand, Gwen has since moved into academia in the field of farm animal population medicine. She has been nominated for the impact of her current research on understanding the way in which prescription medicines are being used by vets and farmers in the UK.
Dr. Gwenllian Rhys, MRCVS. Dr. Gwen Rhys's work in improving antimicrobial prescribing through the Arwain Vet Cymru project is having a significant positive impact on responsible veterinary medicine across Welsh agriculture by encouraging veterinary practices to work together to effect positive change of prescribing. As project lead for this collaborative National Antimicrobial Stewardship Programme for all farm vets in Wales, Gwen has recruited and trained a network of veterinary prescribing champions, VPCs, across 80% of all farm and mixed practices around the country. The VPCs promote responsible medicine use and introduce antimicrobial stewardship policies into their practices, translating into real, practical on-farm change and improvements in animal health and welfare and public health. Through a rigorous and evidence-based design process rooted in the principles of behaviour change, this stewardship project has provided a bespoke programme of expert-led training, facilitated discussion groups and participatory workshops, and has developed recommendations that will influence key prescribing policy decisions in Wales and the whole of the UK for a long time to come.
Gwen, I am delighted tonight to present you with the RCVS Impact Award. Congratulations.
And here are a few thoughts from Gwen about her award and her work.
Hi, My name is Dr. Gwen Rees, and I would like to say a huge thank you to the RCVS for this Impact Award 2021. It means such a great deal to me that the work that we've been doing with our Vet Cymru across Wales in promoting responsible use of medicines, and particularly antimicrobial stewardship, is being recognised in this way. In particular, I would like to thank the veterinary prescribing champions that we have from farm animal practices across the whole of Wales who've worked so hard and been so dedicated, and with that hard work have managed to make some really important and groundbreaking interventions in their practices to improve prescribing across the country, and this has been really quite pioneering. So for that reason, I have to dedicate this award to all of them. It wouldn't have been possible without any of them. I would also like to thank Rob Smith from Farm First Vets and Iechyd Da for nominating me for this award, and our collaborators at the University of Bristol, particularly Dr. Kristin Ryer and Dr. Alison Bard for their hard work, our other collaborators Iechyd Da and Welsh Lamb and Beef producers. And finally, I'd like to thank our funders, which was Welsh Government and the Office of the Chief Veterinary Officer for Wales. They really had great vision and showed that they supported a vet-led approach to improving prescribing in Wales that has really paid off. So I'd like to thank them as well. Diolch I chi gyd.
The second recipient of the RCVS Impact Award today is veterinary surgeon Alison Lambert.
After working in clinical practice for several years, Alison pursued a career in industry where she discovered a passion for improving customer experience. It is for the impact of the customer experience consultancy she subsequently established and led that she's being nominated for this award today.
Impact Award. Alison Lambert, MRCVS. Dr. Alison Lambert is the founder and owner of veterinary business consultancy OnSwitch, which aims to inspire change and create customer-centered practice so that pets, horses and livestock receive the best care. Alison has inspired the veterinary profession in the UK and internationally to improve the customer experience of the client, and she has given vets and vet nurses around the world the tools to communicate effectively with owners using evidence-based methods. Her concepts and language around customer experience are now widely used throughout the profession, and her data-driven approach and unique tools to measure and monitor this experience have delivered real and sustained change in practices. Alison is also a mentor to generations of vets and vet nurses, particularly women. Her passion for helping colleagues with topics such as equal pay, pensions and financial planning is clear, and she is never afraid to challenge the status quo.
Alison, I'm delighted today to present you with the RCVS Impact Award. Congratulations.
And here's Alison herself with what this award means to her and her team.
Hello everybody, I've got 90 seconds to say what receiving this Impact Award means to me, and to say thank you to the folks who nominated me, and in particular to Susie Samuels for corralling a group of folks to put the nomination in. I believe total surprise to me, and certainly a much more pleasant Dear Mrs. Lambert letter than the usual ones I get. So thank you for that. It certainly was a surprise. What does it mean? It means that somewhere along the way I'm on somebody's radar, and maybe I've got a minute to share with you. If we've not met and you've never heard me say the importance of people in our profession is really, really important, then I've got a minute of airtime to say that receiving an award gives you a platform, and here's the platform. Our profession is all about people. It's all about people, clients and colleagues. It's people who work with people. It's pet owners, it's horse owners, it's farmers, all of these folks who need our profession to care for the animals in their lives. And we can only get to good, optimal patient outcomes if we work with the people that live with them. And by working with the people that live with them, we get the better outcome for the animals under our care. We have many challenges. People have challenges all the time in their lives. Our profession is a people-based profession. We work with people all the time, clients, colleagues, and maybe we need to just stop and pause and reflect on that, that all the tech and all the digital and all the innovation and all the high science, it comes down to that one communication between that colleague and that client that means that that patient gets the care or it doesn't. So for me, the award means that maybe folks are starting to think about the role of people and the role of the client experience and the client journey, and for that, that's good. For me, do I think I've made an impact? Not as big a one as I should have done, but we've all got to start somewhere. So all I would say is thank you once again to Susie Samuels and the team that put me forward for this. And it's nice to have. It's going to sit on the desk here with a few other bits and bobs, but the work goes on. So thank you and good night.
We now move on to the RCVS Inspiration Award, for which we have 2 recipients this year. This is an award for a veterinary surgeon or veterinary nurse who has demonstrated the ability to inspire and enthuse others consistently throughout their career. It recognises those who've gone above and beyond what may normally be expected from a professional colleague. This year, the first RCVS Inspiration Award goes to veterinary surgeon Dr. Daniela dos Santos.
A small animal and exotics vet and a champion of diversity and opportunity within the veterinary professions, Daniela is undoubtedly best known for becoming the youngest ever president of the British Veterinary Association in 2019, aged just 34, and helping to guide the professions through the COVID-19 pandemic.
Dr. Daniela dos Santos, FRCVS. As president of the British Veterinary Association during the first part of the pandemic, Dr. Daniela dos Santos was a true inspiration to the profession and has showcased leadership in a digital era. During those initial months of great uncertainty, she was tireless in her communication and support for veterinary colleagues and drove the BVA's constantly updated information and guidance with her weekly webinars that were seen by hundreds of members of the profession. Daniela has been a constant presence in some of the largest veterinary online forums, explaining, correcting, reassuring, and leading the profession. In a year when face-to-face and voice contact have become difficult or rare, she has helped to turn group chat into support groups by providing accurate, authoritative, and practically useful guidance. As a result of fear and anxieties over spilling, she has faced a degree of antagonism. Nevertheless, she has risen above it and modelled the very high standards of professionalism to many thousands of veterinary staff.
Daniela, it gives me great pleasure this evening to present you with the RCVS Inspiration Award. Congratulations.
And here's Daniela with a few words.
Daniela here, and I am honoured, humbled and delighted to be one of this year's recipients of the RCVS Inspiration Award. I want to start by thanking Kat for nominating me. I have no idea how you found the time to do it between homeschooling and working during a global pandemic, but thank you. But above all, I want to say thank you to the whole profession. Because whilst I'm sitting here receiving this award for what many will have heard me say before, just doing my job, it was you that did the hard work to get the profession through this pandemic. When I started as BVA president, I was so excited that I would be going out there representing the profession I am so proud to be part of and love dearly. I just never expected to be doing it during a global pandemic. It was challenging. There was pressure to consider animal welfare, to consider the safety of the people within our professions, and I hope that you felt at all times I did my best, that I was honest, and that all my decisions were made with the members of our incredible professions at the forefront of my mind. It was the honour of my lifetime to be BVA president during a global pandemic, and I could not be prouder of the profession and how it handled it. So whilst it's my name on this award, this is for every single one of you out there who have worked so hard and so tirelessly during this pandemic. Thank you very much.
The second recipient of the RCVS Inspiration Award tonight is veterinary surgeon and a fellow of the college, Professor Mandy Peffers.
Mandy has certainly had a varied career path, having completed an internship, worked in commercial embryo transfer and becoming a partner in a first opinion mixed veterinary practice. However, it was her decision to move into veterinary research that has led her to become such an advocate for research careers and an inspiration to others wishing to follow in her footsteps.
Inspiration Award, Professor Mandy Peffers, FRCVS. Professor Mandy Peffers goes above and beyond her job to inspire veterinary undergraduates and postgraduates, as well as those from allied and discovery science disciplines, to pursue careers in research. She has limitless passion for inspiring undergraduates to consider research as part of their degree, and is one of the first veterinary school recipients of an Inspire Award, funded by the Academy of Medical Sciences. As part of that award, Mandy has run 2 successful conferences for veterinary and medical students, exposing them to multidisciplinary researchers, helping to fill all undergraduates and postgraduates with her joy for research. Mandy is also one of the UK's most successful veterinary trained researchers of musculoskeletal ageing, reflected by multiple large grant awards and over 60 publications. Her success as a veterinary scientist, as well as being a working mother, is an inspiration for all of those who wish to diversify their careers as veterinary surgeons.
Mandy, I am delighted this evening to present you with the RCVS Inspiration Awards. Congratulations.
We can now hear from Mandy herself.
First, I would like to thank the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons for hosting this award. I would particularly like to thank Professor Ethna Comerford for this nomination and Professor Tim Welting and Dr. Emma Wilson for supporting the nomination. This award was for inspiring veterinary undergraduates and postgraduates to pursue a career in research, but my attitude to veterinary medicine and veterinary research as a career comes in part from the people that have inspired me along the way. And these include Professor Peter Clegg, who I first met when he was a resident at the RVC and I was an undergraduate, and has supported my goal of becoming a veterinary academic researcher since I moved from cattle reproduction at the age of 38. Professor Gary England was my supervisor for my final year project at the RVC and is a great role model and another person who's inspired my research career. And finally, Dr. Mike Harvey, who was my supervisor when I was a reproduction intern at Glasgow Vet School, who made me understand why veterinary clinical research was so important. And last but not least, I would like to thank the Wellcome Trust, who've supported my research since 2008, and also for their support through the Academy of Medical Sciences Inspire campaign, which tries to inspire veterinary undergraduates to engage in veterinary research. Thank you.
Our next award recognises those who have worked internationally, either from within or outside the UK. Recipients of the RCVS International Award will have made an outstanding contribution on issues that are in line with the RCVS mission, including raising veterinary standards, veterinary education, improving animal health and welfare, developing leadership and promoting mental health and well-being. Nominees for the award do not need to be members of the college or registered veterinary nurses, nor do they necessarily need similar or equivalent status if they live and work outside the UK. This year, the International Award is conferred posthumously on the late Emeritus Professor Michael Day.
Michael qualified as a veterinary surgeon for Murdoch University, Australia in 1982. He held postdoctoral positions in experimental immunology at Bristol and Oxford universities before taking up a permanent position in the Department of Veterinary Pathology at Bristol University in 1990. He retired from academic life in 2017 and passed away in May last year. Here is just a snapshot of the international reach and scope of Michael's work.
International Award, Emeritus Professor Michael Day. Professor Michael Day was a respected researcher and scientific writer who authored or co-authored more than 345 papers in the field of immunopathology. He was a powerful advocate of a One Health approach, with medical and veterinary professions working together across the globe. His involvement with Mission Rabies is just one example of how he translated ethos into action. He was passionate about enabling international veterinary communities to meet, learn, and share experiences. His work with the World Small Animal Veterinary Association was far-reaching and innovative. During his 10 years as chair of the WSAVA Vaccination Guidelines Group, he led the publication and dissemination of evidence-based and practical guidelines for veterinary clinicians around the world. His separate role within the pioneering AFSCAN project was pivotal in supporting increased standards of veterinary care for companion animals in sub-Saharan Africa.
It is my honour this evening to posthumously confer the RCVS International Award upon the late Emeritus Professor Michael Day.
We've asked Michael's wife, Professor Mary McCondies, to accept this award on his behalf, and she's very kindly sent us this message.
It is an enormous honor to receive on behalf of my husband, Michael Joseph Day, the 2021 Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons International Award. This award is a magnificent acknowledgement to Michael's significant contribution to veterinary profession globally. Michael was a superb academic with an international reputation, who was always willing to share his knowledge and expertise. He wanted to bring education to the world, especially to the underprivileged. After reading the countless tributes that Michael received when he passed away, I have no doubt that he was an inspiration to so many people around the world and has changed so many lives. The words I found most in these tributes were generosity, modesty, kindness, and politeness. I am sure that from where he is now, he is celebrating this award with us tonight. Thank you very much.
Before we move to our penultimate award this evening, I should like to welcome to the stage the chair of our Veterinary Nurses Council, Matthew Rendell, who will be making the next presentation.
Thank you, Lizzie, and good evening. It's really great to be here. The Veterinary Nursing Golden Jubilee Award was introduced in 2011 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the first veterinary nursing training course. The award is to celebrate veterinary nurses who have had a sustained and distinguished career and who can demonstrate a leadership role within the profession and who can act as an ambassador for the value of veterinary nurses and their work.
I'm pleased to announce that this year the award goes to Kirsty Cavill.
During her career, registered veterinary nurse Kirsty Cavill has worked in private practice, charity clinics and zoological settings. She is currently head nurse for the Vet Connection and also owns and runs Paws Canine Myotherapy Care, specialising in the management of senior dogs with musculoskeletal health. It is for her hard work and passion and determination in supporting such patients that Kirsty is being recognised this evening.
Veterinary Nurses Golden Jubilee Award, Kirsty Cavill, RVN. As an experienced registered veterinary nurse and advocate for senior patients, Kirsty Cavill believes that nurse-centric care is an essential part of every senior patient treatment plan, and that age alone should not prevent access to the highest levels of veterinary care. She knows that nurses are often the vital conduit between owner, vet, and the wider community. And through ongoing education and a proactive approach, she is working to change owner, vet, and public perception of chronic pain. Kirsty is passionate about her vet nursing role and is an educational leader in her field and firm believer in volunteering. She is a volunteer VN advisor to canine arthritis management, to which she contributes regular blogs, articles and lectures, and is both a committee member for the veterinary charity Street Vet and a voluntary lead in the veterinary street nurse team. In this capacity, she uses her nursing and rehabilitation skills to support senior dogs and those with mobility-related issues living on the streets with their owners by arranging and attending regular outreach sessions with her street vet colleagues. Kirsty also owns and runs Paws Canine Myotherapy Care, specialising in the management of senior dogs and musculoskeletal health, and during lockdown further demonstrated her dedication to geriatric and chronic disease patients by providing online advice for owners to help keep such dogs mobilised and active.
Kirsty's nomination was supported by clinical trial manager and retired midwife Julie Butler, who said, "Kirsty's passion and enthusiasm to change the management of osteoarthritis in dogs has been an inspiration to me. I'm honoured to support and work alongside her as she continues to amaze me with her knowledge and her desire to make a change and challenge the way that as veterinary professionals we view and deal with this debilitating disease. She has become a forerunner in the multimodal management of canine arthritis and chronic pain, and through her drive to improve the welfare of dogs. Kirsty, it gives me great pleasure to present you with the 2021 Veterinary Nursing Golden Jubilee Award. Many congratulations."
And here's Kirsty with a few words.
Thank you to the Royal College for inviting me this evening to this award and celebration evening, and to the VN Council and the team at Canine Arthritis Management who nominated me for the Golden Jubilee Award 2021. It's an absolute honour to receive this nomination from a group of people who are so inspirational in the work they do each and every day to raise awareness of the management of canine arthritis. It's a truly fantastic team to be a part of. When I first joined the profession and registered for the first time 30 years ago this year, I never believed in my wildest dreams that I would still wake up with the same level of passion and commitment for the profession that I still do have today. To receive this beautiful certificate and this amazing award is a true honour. I believe our profession is as exciting to be part of as it ever has been. Veterinary nurses are highly skilled professionals. We have structured career pathways, we have VN futures and all manner of options available to us to define our career pathways and allow us to work in areas which we are truly passionate about. So thank you to the Royal College and the VN Council, and to Lindsay Tyndall, fellow veterinary nurse at CAM, and Hannah Capon and the whole team behind Canine Arthritis Management, who do an incredible job every single day. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Matthew, and congratulations, Kirsty. We turn now to the celebration of our final award of the evening, the RCVS Queen's Medal. Our patron, Her Majesty the Queen, has graciously given her permission for this honour to be named after her. The Queen's Medal is awarded to a veterinary surgeon for a lifetime of outstanding contributions to their profession, who has dedicated their career to working above and beyond the call of duty in the fields of veterinary medicine or science or related areas. It's the most prestigious award and honour that the college can bestow. I'm delighted to say that the recipient of this year's RCVS Queen's Medal is Dr. Ian Glenn.
Dr. Ian Glenn graduated from the University of Glasgow in 1963 and, after a year as a house surgeon in the University of Nairobi, Kenya, returned to Glasgow as a lecturer in veterinary surgery with the responsibility for anaesthesia. He published a number of papers on canine anesthesia and was one of the first people to obtain a diploma in veterinary anesthesia by examination in 1968. In 1972, he joined ICI Pharmaceuticals as a research clinical scientist, where he remained for the rest of his career, much to the benefit of hundreds of millions of people around the world, as we can now hear.
Queen's Medal, Dr. John Ian Glenn, MRCVS. The definition of One Health includes the contribution veterinary surgeons have made to biomedical research, and one of the most outstanding examples of this is Dr. Ian Glenn. Ian's determination and tenacity has helped revolutionise medical and subsequently veterinary anaesthesia, as he led a team that examined the efficacy and safety of using propofol as an intravenous anaesthetic agent. Following years of hard work and persistence, propofol received UK approval in 1986, followed by US approval in 1989, and is now licensed in 90 countries throughout the world. Propofol has proven itself to be a remarkably safe anaesthetic agent. It is used in the operating theatre, in intensive care, with outpatients and in ambulatory situations, and, as such, has become the agent of choice across the world. So significant was Ian's contribution that he was awarded the prestigious Lasker Prize for Clinical Research. In 2016, the World Health Organization deemed propofol an essential medicine, and at the time of that decision, more than 190 million people had received the drug. Ian Glenn's vision, creativity and persistence in the development of propofol has transformed the hospital experience for hundreds of millions of patients. An unassuming man, there can be very few members of the veterinary profession who have contributed so much to the welfare of both animals and humans.
Ian, as those who nominated you for this award have already said, your work has been recognised at the highest level by your medical colleagues around the world. So it is entirely fitting that we too are able to recognise your incredible achievements with the highest award that we can bestow upon a veterinary surgeon. It is therefore my honour and privilege this evening to present you with the RCVS Queen's Medal. Many, many congratulations.
And finally, here's Ian with a message for us.
Madam President, Council members, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great honour to receive this medal, and I'd like to thank Ron Jones and Jack Boyd for nominating me to receive this prestigious award. My career was greatly influenced by the ability to specialise in veterinary anaesthesia. The late Sir William Wipers, when President of the RCVS in 1964, was instrumental in the introduction of specialist diplomas. With Leslie Hall and Barbara Weaver as examiners of the first veterinary anaesthesia diploma, Ron Jones and I were early diplomates. My interest in studying new anaesthetics at Glasgow University led me to apply for a research position at ICI Pharmaceuticals, where I led the team which discovered the intravenous anaesthetic propofol. I selected propofol as a candidate drug in 1974, but approval to market wasn't obtained until 1986, as 2 changes of formulation were required before the final formulation, the final emulsion formulation, was developed and clinical trials completed. I'm delighted that propofol is now so widely used, both in medical and veterinary anaesthesia, as an anaesthetic and an agent for sedation of patients undergoing intensive care. I would like to thank the many colleagues at ICI and AstraZeneca who contributed to a development of this kind, and the clinical trialists around the world who took part in its development. Thank you very much.
My warmest congratulations again, Ian, and to all our RCVS Knowledge, Mind Matters and RCVS Award winners this evening. It is truly wonderful to have had the opportunity tonight to recognise and celebrate the fantastic contributions and inspiring achievements that you each have made to animal health and welfare, to the veterinary professions, and indeed to human health, both in the UK and around the world. As we come to the end of our ceremonial proceedings this evening, I am now delighted to formally open our awards round for 2022. The nomination period for all awards is now open and will close on Friday, 7th January 2022. Do please visit our website for further details of all our awards and let us know whose name you would like to put forward.
But now, to round off this evening of celebration and inspiration, I should shortly like to invite Mandisa to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Emily Collins-Wingate. Emily has agreed to answer questions at the end of her presentation, and there are two ways to send us any questions. First, by email to events@rcvs.org.uk. The second method is via Twitter, using the hashtag RCVS Awards. By all means, send us your questions during the talk and we will do our best to read out as many as we can at the end. Mandisa, over to you.
Thank you, Lizzie. Dr. Emily Collins-Wingate qualified in 2020 from Surrey Vet School, in what was only the second cohort of students to graduate from the school, but the first to do so during a global pandemic. During her studies, she was president of the Veterinary Society for 2 years and volunteered as a student ambassador. In August 2020, Emily started work in farm animal practice in the southeast of England at the same practice where she had completed 2 months of extramural studies. She graduated at an incredibly challenging time for veterinary students, and I think no matter how long you've been in this profession, we can all learn a lot about adaptability, resilience, and determination from her. Since graduating, Emily has developed a social media presence to promote the farming industry, raise awareness of the role of farm vets, and reach out to current and prospective students. Emily, thank you for joining us this evening, and a very warm welcome.
Good evening. Before I start, I would like to thank Mandisa for inviting me to be here tonight, and everyone at the RCVS and the production team here in the studio for making this event possible. I also want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us virtually for giving up their time to celebrate the achievements of members of our profession in what are still very challenging circumstances. I must also say a quick hello to the team of vets and professionals climbing the Snowdonia Trek this week. On the 22nd of July last year, I sat in my bedroom on Zoom, speaking on behalf of my graduating cohort at a virtual celebration event. We didn't have a graduation for obvious reasons, but thankfully we could still mark the occasion online. There were a few differences at our event from what vets watching tonight might remember of their own graduations, but aside from the obvious detail of the event being online, there was one significant variation. Mandisa welcomed us, by Zoom, to the Royal College, and instead of reciting our professional oath, we simply ticked a box when we paid our registration fees. Despite the strange circumstances, it was still an event to remember. Online ceremonies were not just limited to university though. I remember watching the first virtual RCVS Honours and Awards Day last year, sat at home in front of my laptop, as I'm sure lots of us were. I had just qualified. I'd officially been working as a vet for 5 weeks, and I was blown away by the achievements of professionals within our industry at every stage of their careers. Their dedication and passion with which everyone had committed to their roles and the contributions they had made were above and beyond what anyone might expect of a vet, vet nurse, or allied member of the veterinary world. Watching that ceremony reminded me what it is that is so special about the veterinary profession, and why, for so many of us, being part of it is all we have ever wanted to do. No one going into this profession is in it for the 9 to 5. No one is in it to go home at the end of the day having made their millions. Everyone is here because they want to make a difference to animal welfare, to public health, to One Health, and to the well-being of both humans and animals. Last year's awards ceremony reminded me about all of that and reignited the love I have for this profession after a challenging and unexpected end to my time at vet school. I am standing here today as a new member of the veterinary profession, a University of Surrey class of 2020 graduate who is passionate about everything that this profession is and does. I don't have an international best-selling memoir to tell you about. I don't believe I've done anything particularly noteworthy in my short time as a vet. But the thing that is different about me and my fellow class of 2020 is that we have had an end to our education and a start to our careers in this wonderful profession like no other graduating class. The world that we have entered and forged our paths in is not the world any of us imagined we would be facing. It also isn't the world we spent 4 years and 7 months preparing for. I rewatched the 2020 awards ceremony a few weeks ago whilst preparing my speech, and naturally focused particularly on the keynote speaker, Professor David Knott, OBE. He was introduced by Niall as a renowned surgeon, humanitarian and personal hero of his, and I have to say I can guarantee no one will be using those words to describe me. Last year's introduction of the keynote speaker, and of almost all the award recipients, talked about the lengths of people's careers, the varied jobs they had had, the incredible discoveries and impacts they had on the profession and wider community. When Professor Knott spoke, he talked of a career that had spanned more than 25 years, and his wasn't even the longest mentioned. In comparison, as of tonight, my career as a qualified veterinary surgeon has spanned 1 year, 2 months and 15 days, a grand total of 442 days finally being a vet. And yet, Mandisa asked me to be here tonight to speak to you, and I am genuinely honoured to be doing that. After receiving that invitation and being incredibly excited and incredibly terrified in equal measure, I reflected a lot on what on earth I could possibly say to follow in the footsteps of all the award winners we have heard from tonight. The conclusion I came to is that every single person who has ever won an award at events like this, who has ever been RCVS or BVA president, who has ever made an incredible discovery or had a varied, fulfilling career, started out as a student. Then they were a graduate, and at some point in their career, they were 442 days into it, and they probably didn't think they had anything special to say either. Whilst I'm the one speaking here tonight, I hope and would like my speech to be the voice of those at the very start of their careers, those whose days are filled with uncertainty and doubt at their abilities and decision-making, those who feel they are doing nothing more extraordinary than turning up day in, day out. Above all, I'd like my speech to represent my fellow cohort of graduates and all the students whose academic world has been turned upside down in the past 18 months. Growing up, I remember people talking about significant moments in their life, being able to remember exactly what they were doing and where they were when a certain thing happened. For some people, it was the Great Storm of 1987, or hearing the news about 9/11, Obama winning the 2008 presidential election, or Princess Diana's death. For many students, certainly the 3 on rotation with me in Yorkshire, we will remember exactly where we were when we found out that our careers, our veterinary education as we knew it, was over. I recall vividly standing in the practice office, being told that we were to go back to our accommodation and wait to hear more. All Surrey final years where students were told to be back home by the end of the week. We had permission to leave immediately. So, stunned and shocked, the 4 of us went back to our house, made a cup of tea, and turned on the news to hear the first government broadcast about COVID-19. We sat and watched as the world as we knew it seemed to come tumbling down. I think every student hearing that the final few months of a practical rotation was suddenly over would be concerned. Our educators, both at university and in practice, had no idea how we were going to transition what is at its core a practical degree onto an online environment. But that is what had to happen. Driving home from Yorkshire, I remember everything feeling simultaneously very normal and very strange. There weren't any restrictions in place yet. There were talks of a lockdown, but nothing had been confirmed. All we really knew was that we were going home, and we didn't know when or if we would be coming back into practice, or how we could possibly finish our training and degrees. As it turned out, we never went back into practice. By some incredible feat, our lecturers managed to remodel those final months of teaching in a matter of weeks. So, on the first day of lockdown, the 23rd of March 2020, we started virtual rotations and adapted to an online world. Whilst we missed out on the practical, hands-on nature of rotations, these online sessions gave us the opportunity to learn from a wider pool of subject experts. We had seminars and discussion groups with vets in practice and industry, enabling access to a broader range of contacts than geography and time would usually allow. The pandemic has shown us that we don't need to physically be in the same room to share information and progress. Businesses across the world have adapted to this, and veterinary education is no different. The development of digital platforms has enabled countless hours of teaching and CPD to take place online, removing some of the financial and geographical barriers to accessing this information. Looking back at my final year of university, it's fair to say we came away with a resilience and skill set we never quite expected. Thinking about the last 18 months and trying to quantify how much the world has changed, I think it's very easy and probably very natural to focus on the negatives, to focus on the events postponed or opportunities missed. There were days when I just had to say, this is hard, and it is okay to be sad that I'm not getting a normal graduation or final year ball, saying goodbye to my friends or any of those real milestones. It truly has been such a challenging 18 months for all of us here, but I think we've seen real changes that could improve the future of the profession. I asked some of the 2019 to 2021 graduates if they felt there had been any benefits to the start of their careers due to the changes in daily working life because of the pandemic. You can see some of the answers I got back on the screen. There was quite a variety, but here are a few of the key points which I think are worth considering as life returns to normal. A lot of people mentioned that consulting with our owners present and with a reduced time pressure gave them time to learn how to consult and made it easier for them to seek assistance. Whilst I'm not suggesting clients are banned from consult rooms forever, the value of this extra time and easy access to second opinions shouldn't be underestimated. Another frequent comment was regarding teamwork. Feeling part of a team and working with members of staff more cohesively can really improve morale and well-being. We know how damaging social isolation can be, and whether you're out in a field, covering reception, or in a consult room all day, small connections with the rest of your team are a reminder that you are not alone. Like many of you watching this evening, during the pandemic, it sometimes felt like life was work, eat, and sleep on repeat. Socialising and embracing life outside of work is important, but so is rest. Some graduates said that looking back, they can see that enforced time at home helped them create some balance in their lives from the start of their careers. Unsurprisingly, many graduates said having nurses or care assistants paired with vets made everything run smoother. We all know the world is a better place when a veterinary nurse is involved. They are better at low-stress handling and could often answer many of the queries graduates had when they started working. We need to value our vet nurses and assistants and use them to their full potential, both as direct support for vets and in their own client-facing roles. Ultimately, within this profession, we are all problem solvers. We listen and we care and we do our best. We think on our feet. make swift decisions, and have the necessary training to support this. The nature of our jobs mean that we believe in what we are doing. We need to do everything we can to enable our veterinary teams to move through change, to embrace and to adapt. I'm sure many of us lost count of the number of changes in regulations and advice to the veterinary teams over the course of the pandemic. Sometimes it felt like every week we were dealing with a new crisis. But those constant challenges, while stressful at the time, go some way to creating a change mindset. This year has shown us the power of incremental change, has shown us just how strong and adaptable our veterinary teams are. Whether we feel like innovators or not, every one of us has been part of creating meaningful change within our profession. There have been changes on the horizon for many years. The increased use of technology, corporatization, increasing pet ownership, and staffing shortages, to name but a few. We have the option to see the challenges ahead of us as threats or as opportunities. The profession was already adapting to a rapidly changing environment before the pandemic hit. The newest members of your teams might not be the most experienced surgeons or the quickest consultants, but our entire careers so far have been dealing with change and making things work. We are adaptable, we are flexible, we are passionate, and we are not yet set in our ways of how things should be done. The pandemic has forced us to work together in new ways and to ask for help when we needed it. That is something everyone in the profession should be doing more, because we are not in this by ourselves. We are all part of a team. In Kate Richards' opening speech, when she became RCVS president, she spoke about connections that count. That message really resonated with me, because I know I wouldn't have been able to be a vet for the last year without WhatsApp, Instagram, and calling people I'd never met or spoken to before. This year has normalised reaching outside of your immediate support network. And going forwards, I think that is something that we can utilise more. We're going to have graduates for several years whose education has been affected by the pandemic, and all of us have seen the impact of reduced social and professional connections. In our work, in our society, and in our profession, these connections make us better, happier, and stronger. Mandisa used her presidency to champion a more diverse and inclusive profession. As the first Black female president, and now being part of the first all-female presidential team, it is clear we are moving in the right direction. The phrase that has stuck with me through many talks and discussions about increasing diversity in the profession is, "You can't be what you can't see." Now, I have to admit, when I first heard that phrase, I didn't really get it. I never really appreciated the potential impact of never having seen someone who looks like you or was from a similar background to you thriving. It wasn't until my third year, when I seriously doubted whether I could be a farm vet, that it clicked. I had some negative experiences on a placement. I was told girls can't be farm vets, told that farmers would never listen to what I had to say because I wasn't from a farming background. If I hadn't have been lucky enough to meet some incredible female farm vets, also not from farming backgrounds, I might have believed what those people said. I might never have pursued farming, and I might never have the job that I love today. We are moving in the right direction, but there is more to be done. In the past 12 months, I have had more conversations with friends, family, and clients about the challenges facing veterinary professionals than ever before. Daniela dos Santos and Rosie Alistair recently spoke on BBC Radio 4 Women's Hour and covered some of these topics. The Not One More Vet, vet nurse, and vet student movements flooded social media in spring of this year, and again this started real conversations. In a time where research has shown an increase in veterinary teams experiencing intimidation from their clients, these topics being in the public eye can surely only improve things. I don't have answers or solutions to the challenges we face in this profession, but I do know that there will be changes and progress, and that vets graduating now are going to be a part of it. COVID-19 will leave a legacy behind it for years to come, and our recovery must start with prioritising our veterinary teams. It is well accepted that the first few years of someone's career can make or break them. If we can properly support the newest members of our teams, prevent burnout, and continue to encourage them to seek help when needed, those ripples will extend throughout the profession. Vets graduating now have a much better understanding of their own mental health. It is part of the syllabus of veterinary degrees and no longer has the stigma it had before. We are taught about imposter syndrome and spotting the early warning signs when things aren't okay. We are taught to value ourselves, and with examples like Olympic athletes withdrawing from events due to their mental health, graduates won't and shouldn't stay in toxic environments. As a profession, we have been bonded by adversities far greater than us. As the world ground to a halt, we tuned in for the first BVA webinar in March 2020 to hear the BVA and RCVS presidents give a call to action for us to unite and help control the spread of the virus. We made the impossible possible, the previously unthinkable a reality. My time in this profession, before and during the pandemic, has given me more than I could possibly have imagined. I am proud to be a vet. I'm proud to be part of the class of COVID-19. Whilst being graduates of the pandemic doesn't define us, it does recognise the additional difficulties we faced to be where we are today. Those difficulties have shaped us, and I think they will make us better vets, able to contribute even more to the future of our profession. The RCVS motto states, "There is strength through unity," and the pandemic has proved that beyond doubt. My hope is that as the years go by, we can look back on this pandemic and see that yes, we did create real change, and it made a positive difference to our profession.
Emily, thank you very much indeed for a fantastic insight into the realities of training and graduating during the pandemic. You and your fellow graduates across the country have shown immense resilience and determination throughout the last 18 months. And unlike what you just said, you are my personal hero and inspiration. I believe we have one question for Emily. Emily, congratulations on your first year in practice. What has been the biggest surprise or challenge to you as you made that transition?
Big question. I think the biggest thing that surprised me was how long it would take me to feel like a vet. It's something that we talked about at uni, but the moments when you finally feel like you are a vet sort of creep up on you, and suddenly people remind you that you are a vet and you are doing things, and that first time that a client requests you or calls the office to say thank you was a feeling that I didn't quite expect to be as overawing as it was. And I think something that surprised me was how willing everyone in the profession was to provide support, especially this year. It didn't matter who I rang or who I spoke to online. Everyone had our best interests at heart, and that is something that really shows the core values of our profession at its heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Emily. I think that's all we have time for this evening. So I should just like to thank Emily again for joining us this evening and giving us such a truly fascinating talk. So now it leaves me to draw our evening to a close. Thank you all so very much for joining us. It has been a true honour for me to present our awards to such fantastic folk tonight. And I hope you have found their stories and achievements as fascinating and inspirational as I have. I am definitely leaving this evening feeling incredibly proud of all that our professions have achieved. Please do remember to nominate whomever you think deserves to be celebrated next year with an RCVS Knowledge or Mind Matters Award for their hard work, dedication and achievements. Thank you also to our nominations committee, who have had the unenviable task of choosing tonight's winners from an extremely impressive field of nominees, and to our communications team for expertly turning our normal live event into such an engaging virtual one. I very much look forward to seeing you all at RCVS Day next year, where RCVS President Kate Richards will have the honour of presenting our awards for 2022, hopefully face-to-face. In the meantime, please do stay safe and keep well. Thank you and good night.